to be an old AFC West rivalry game against the Raiders. Seattle's coming off a bye. It's a nice matchup against a generous Raider defense to open up a Seattle potential playoff push. San Francisco coming off a win in Mexico City that saw Deebo Samuel's hamstring issue flare up. It was physical. Will it prove costly this week? Nick Wagoner has more with the Niners.
Before the 49ers even left Mexico City on Monday night, Coach Kyle Shanahan had a warning for his team. No letdowns. The Niners have won 3 in a row, but are coming off of a week in Colorado and Mexico, heading into a short week and a holiday before Sunday's game against the Saints.
Cornerback Tariq Woolen has played his way into consideration for Defensive Rookie of the Year by continually passing the test against elite receivers. The Seahawks need him to do it again today against Davante Adams. Pete Carroll said Woolen has done a nice job of sticking to his game and not getting thrown off by whatever big-time receiver that he's faced. And he said Adams is as good as any of them. Now, one X factor for the Seahawks over their closing stretch is going to be whether Woolen and the rest of their stellar draft class can keep up its pace. DK Metcalf and other veteran players have praised the rookies for their maturity and their professionalism, and he said they've got the mentality that it takes to avoid hitting the so-called rookie wall. Metcalf added, quote, "It's only a real thing if you allow it to be."
Gentlemen, thank you. Niners and Seahawks, yeah, they have the same record, but San Francisco currently holds the tiebreaker. The Niners are the overwhelming favorite to win the division at 83%. That's according to
Purdue in the Big Ten title game. 4th-ranked TCU will take on Kansas State in the Big 12 championship, while USC and Utah will meet for the Pac-12 title.
All right, to the NFL, the Jets can get their 7th win of the season today. They're going to try to do it, though, with their 3rd different starting quarterback of the season. Mike White getting the nod. Robert Saleh won't even dress Zach Wilson, saying his second-year former starter needs a quote-unquote reset. The Jets need consistency under center against the Bears. Rich Cimini has more from New York.
The Jets hope Mike White can do 2 things for them. 1, play the quarterback position the way they have it drawn up. He's got a quick release, and he likes to throw short, getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers. As he said this week, "I won't play hero ball," and that was one of the knocks against Zach Wilson. Number 2, one team official told me that White will galvanize the entire team. Wilson's struggles, along with his refusal to show accountability after last week's game, caused some grumbling on defense, a defense that has been playing exceptionally well. Now, Robert Saleh acknowledged there might have been some irritation among players, but now they're hoping that White can provide a spark and keep the Jets in the playoff race.
Taking a look at some notable spreads here for Week 12 in the National Football League. New York, a 7-point favorite over Chicago. Could be without Justin Fields there for Chicago. Cincy currently a 1-point favorite on the road at Tennessee, while Green Bay is 6.5-point dogs in Philly tonight. Speak of Philly, it's Erin Dolan. She's doling out winners with us on SportsCenter AM. Erin, just hours before a full slate of games here, what's the play standing out to you today?
I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers to throw an interception. He has 7 interceptions so far this season. 6 of those 7 have been on the road. On top of that, he came out and said he's been dealing with a broken thumb since week 5. And why should we be concerned? Well, the Eagles are tied with the Buffalo Bills for the most defensive interceptions this season. Now, the Eagles generate a ton of pressure, which then is going to force Rodgers to get the ball out quickly. And ultimately, I think in this Sunday Night Football matchup, he's going to throw a pick.
Rodgers has 7 picks this season after just 4 all of last season. Where else, Aaron, could bettors find some value today?
I'm looking at Joe Burrow to go over 275.5 passing yards. Now, he's only hit over this mark in 5 of 10 games, and he's averaging 289 passing yards per game. But this is really about that Tennessee Titans defense. They're ranked 2nd against the run, but 30th against the pass. On top of that, this is a really short spread. So if Joe Burrow is going to beat this team, it is going to be through the air. Now, I know Jamar Chase is not playing this game, neither is Joe Mixon. But at the same time, if you look back to last week, he had 355 passing yards against the Steelers defense, got 7 wide receivers involved. I do believe he'll go over his passing yards prop.
And Samaje Perine figures to factor into that receiving game as well. Sometimes the best bets, Aaron, are the ones you don't make. So where are you, Aaron, on the side of caution today?
This is probably no surprise, but Bears-Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson is benched. Who knows how Mike White's going to look? There's so many question marks surrounding Justin Fields and this team, but I will say Trevor Siemian props are now available already on Caesars Sportsbook. So we got a situation between Mike White and...
With a QBR of 73. As promised, Louis Riddick back with us for more on SportsCenter to talk things about Brady returning from the bye week, which was actually not ill-timed, but the Bucs started 3-5, and then they put together 2 straight wins to be 5-5.
Yeah.
What's their forecast that you project for these final 7 games of the season?
Well, the next 4 will tell us a lot, considering starting today, go at the Browns, Bengals, at the 49ers, or rather at the Browns, the Saints, 49ers, Bengals. Look, that's going to tell you a lot. Look, at the Browns, you can never just discount, okay? This is a football team that's very talented. The Saints, we know their history with Tom Brady and the Bucs. We all know about the 49ers, and Joe Burrow's playing as good as anyone. So those 4 games are going to tell us a lot. I think you did see, though, over in Germany, they started to find a little bit of offensive rhythm, particularly with the running game and the way rookie Rashad White, the third rounder out of Arizona State, really looked. He's a guy who gives them a different component as far as the run game is concerned. Needs to improve his pass protection, although they still have Leonard Fournette for that. But as long as that gets going, Tom looks like now, both mentally and physically, Gary, he looks like a guy who's kind of on the upswing. This football team looks like it's on the upswing. The defense got embarrassed. They understand that they need to really pull, I guess I should just say carry their weight as far as making sure that this football team plays well down the stretch. But let's just see how things look after the next 4 games, because I think that will tell us a lot about what their postseason fortunes look like.
7 games left in the regular season, only 2 opponents currently with winning records. And you talk about Tampa looking on the upswing. The Packers, meanwhile, they've been swinging low. They showed glimpses of what we expected out of them when they took care of business against Dallas, but then they lose to Tennessee, and now a formidable task taking on the Eagles.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concerns with the Packers. What's your chief concern with them?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to even go on the side of the offense. I think it's just defensively that right now, given the type of talent that they have on that side of the football, they are just not producing the way they need to. Number one, this is a football team that should be in the top 10, top 5 in turnover differential, and they're just not. They're just not forcing enough turnovers. With Rashawn Gary not being out, the pass rush, has taken a hit now. They give up too many explosive plays. They're not a football team that really can, when the offense is struggling, pick up their end, provide short fields, provide game-changing type of turnovers, and really prevent the other team from throwing the football over their head. They've given up way too many plus 20-yard completions. That is a recipe for disaster when you aren't able to play complementary football in terms of all 3 phases, kind of like moving and kind of like adjusting depending upon which phase of the game isn't really like hitting on all cylinders that week. And for what we expected coming into the season with the defense, it just has not been good enough. And I think this season right now is going to be one of those where they're going to look right to the offseason in terms of improving this football team. It's just not going to happen during this last month of the season.
6% chance, according to analytics, to reach the playoffs. And that's not taken into account. If they lose against the Eagles, that 6 gets cut in half to 3, which is 3 away from 0.
Yep.
Louis Riddick with the latest this morning.
Good way of putting it.
On SportsCenter.
All right, kick off your Week 12 NFL Sunday with the Countdown crew. Joe Burrow going to sit down with Alex Smith while looking for a 3rd straight win in an all-access look into an absolutely mind-blowing team meeting with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. You're going to be potentially hypnotized by it. You can see it at 10 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Don't want to give too much away. As it is, as it shall ever be.
These are context clues.
Time for Sunday Fun Day. And we start with a man who's made every to be an old AFC West rivalry game against the Raiders. Seattle's coming off a bye. It's a nice matchup against a generous Raider defense to open up a Seattle potential playoff push. San Francisco coming off a win.
Before the 49ers even left Mexico City on Monday night, Coach Kyle Shanahan had a warning for his team. No letdowns. The Niners have won 3 in a row, but are coming off of a week in Colorado and Mexico, heading into a short week and a holiday before Sunday's game against the Saints. Since 2019,
cornerback Tariq Woolen has played his way into consideration for Defensive Rookie of the Year by continually passing the test against elite receivers. The Seahawks need him to do it again today against Davante Adams. Pete Carroll said Woolen has done a nice job of sticking to his game and not getting thrown off by whatever big-time receiver that he's faced. And he said Adams is as good as any of them. Now, one X factor for the Seahawks over their closing stretch is going to be whether Woolen and the rest of their stellar draft class can keep up its pace. DK Metcalf and other veteran players have praised the rookies for their maturity and their professionalism, and he said they've got the mentality that it takes to avoid hitting the so-called rookie wall. Metcalf added, quote, "It's only a real thing if you allow it to be."
Gentlemen, thank you. Niners and Seahawks, yeah, they have the same record, but San Francisco currently holds the tiebreaker. The Niners are the overwhelming favorite to win the division at 83%. That's according to